I'm Sana Garrett-Smith, Executive Vice President with myEcon. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to look at this presentation. I guarantee you won't regret it. But before we get started with talking about myEcon, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in an economically challenged family. I spent a little over 20 years in the Army. Before I met these people in myEcon, I was paying almost $700 a month in federal tax. Now let's get started. myEcon is a fast-growing, debt-free, technology-driven company that's based out in Atlanta, Georgia. The company is managed by a diverse group of veteran leadership with over 30 years of corporate, finance, and marketing experience. Now, our mission in myEcon is to teach people how to create personal financial success. Now, exactly what is personal financial success? It's simply having enough cash flow to support a person's lifestyle during their working years and simultaneously during their retirement years. The money must come from two unique resources. During our working years, the money comes from your job or your business. But during your retirement years, the money comes from your asset or investments. Let me give you an example. If a person was making $100,000 a year and they wanted to maintain that same standard of living, they would need to have an income-producing asset that is making over $1 million at an 8 to 10% rate of return. Unfortunately, most people do not achieve personal success because of four major obstacles. The first obstacle is limited income and inflation, high taxes, high debt, and less than ideal cash flow management. Let's talk a little bit about limited income and inflation. As the cost of living rises, a person's income doesn't rise at their job. If a person was making $15,000 back in 1974 and they're making $70,000 today, yeah, they're making more money today, but in terms of buying power, they're still making the same amount of income. The second obstacle is high taxes. Do you know that according to the IRS that 80% of America has a third of their income going to taxes? Where's your money really going? By the time you finish paying all these different types of taxes, it equates out to you working half the year just to pay taxes. There was an H&R Block commercial on TV that said, "Get your $1 billion back, America." That's because so many people are giving the government an interest-free loan and do not realize that that's their money that they're getting back at the end of the year. The next obstacle is high debt. Debt is demonic. I mean, people are struggling to pay down their credit card debt. They're using one credit card debt to pay down another one. People are robbing Peter to pay Paul. And the last obstacle is less than ideal cash flow management. Now, when I say this, I've met so many people across the country who has had money to invest, but they didn't know exactly where to put it. Here's an example of what we call the rule of 72. And this example is a person had $10,000 to invest. This tells you the amount of time. The 72 is a factor. It will tell you how much time it takes for that money to double. So if a person had $10,000 and they put it and they were able to get 4% rate of return on it, it would take them 18 years for that money to double. But if they knew how to get 12%, look how much they would have in that same amount of time. Unfortunately, most people struggle with this because they did not choose who their parents or grandparents were. They have what you call a low money blueprint. Now, exactly what is a low money blueprint? Your money blueprint is dictated on how you were taught to feel and think about money. Our solution here at myEcon, we have our 3 smart cash flow strategies. The first strategy is to be able to minimize your taxes. Folks, I worked in the HR department for 20 years in the Army. And I'll tell you this, just because a person works in the HR department, is a tax preparer or a CPA, does not make them financially literate. Because I've had so many soldiers come up to me and ask me how many should they put on their withholding certificate. And they don't understand how much they should put on it because their parents didn't teach them, their grandparents, so they had what you call a low money blueprint. When I went to school, the government didn't teach me to show people how to fill out this form as well. But we're going to go a little bit deeper with learning how to minimize your taxes. Because when you learn how to correctly fill out your withholding certificate, what you're going to hear us talk about today is fact, not theory, is that you're going to be able to get an instant pay raise from your employer legally, morally, and ethically without asking for it. Because most people are giving the government an interest-free loan and don't even realize that they're doing it. Let's discuss some terminology before we go any further. The first terminology I want to make sure we get clear on is the difference between an exemption and an allowance. I hear so many people confusing these terms over the years because they have not been taught this because they had, once again, a low money blueprint. Exemptions are claimed on your Form 1040 tax return. You are allowed one exemption, one for yourself, one for your spouse, and one for each qualifying dependent. However, on the other hand, allowances are claimed on your Form W-4. The purpose of the W-4 form is to assist your employer with estimating the appropriate amount to withhold from your paycheck. Here's an example of a 1040 tax return. The couple is married, is claiming a husband and wife and the 4 kids. That is 6. See, as you can see, these are exemptions. These are the amount of people in your household that you're claiming on your tax return. However, on the withholding personal allowance certificate, the W-4 form is what you tell the government and your job, rather, what is happening in your household. It is your job to tell the government what's going on in terms of your family as a whole. Let me give you an example. In the upper left-hand corner of the W-4 form, it says purpose. Complete Form W-4 so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. Consider completing a new W-4 form each year when your personal financial situation changes. Now that clearly states and means that every time something significant happens in your household, you get married, you get divorced, you buy a house or you sell a house, or you start a business, or you have kids, it is your job to go into your HR department, for those who work for the government, go into your MyPay and change your W-4 form, because they don't know that something's happening in your household. Because as you can see on line H, it clearly states, note, this may be different from the number of exemptions you claim on your tax return. That clearly states that this number is going to be significantly higher in some cases than what's on your 1040 tax return. That's what that means. So there's a difference between exemptions versus allowances. Exemptions are the amount of people you claim on your 1040 tax return. Allowances is what you're telling your job and what's going on in your household, sum total, in terms of you owning a house, a business, kids, married or divorced. It's important that you understand that terminology, because over withholding is nothing more than an interest-free loan to the government. Withhold only what you must invest the rest for yourself. We can show you how to pump up your take-home pay, because according to this chart right here that you're looking at, this table shows approximately how much your paycheck would rise with each extra allowance you claim in your Form W-4. So this is an example of a couple that's making between $42,000 and $100,000 a year. The number that you see on the right-hand side of the column is called the factor. We get these numbers from IRS.gov. Everything we talk about with this presentation, we're going to talk facts. We're not going to talk theory, okay? So for every allowance that you claim on your Form 1040 tax return, you get to multiply that number by $63, and that increases your income. Now, we obviously don't have time to go through the W-4 form, but if once you join myEcon, we will go through that form with you line by line and increase your income. The next strategy that we want to talk about is business tax deductions. Folks, the government gives write-offs to people that own something. You got to be able to stimulate the economy rather than just existing. If you only just have a job, the government's not going to give you but a few tax deductions. So when you own a business or a house, you get to fill out the back page of the W-4 form. I call this the page 2 scandal, because it clearly states whether no there's a number 1. It says, use this worksheet only if you plan to itemize deductions, claim certain credits or adjustments to income. Enter an estimate of your 2014 itemized deductions. These include qualified home mortgage interest, charitable contributions, state and local taxes. That's clearly what that says. But before we go over the W-4 form, I want to show you the net income difference of 3 employees and what is the difference between owning a business and being a W-2 employee. This is an example with 3 couples. They all married, they have 2 kids, and none of them own a house. They all make $70,000 a year. The standard deduction that they got for this is $28,000. For the exemptions, they got $3,900 for each person that's living in the house. So that comes out to $28,000. So couple number 1, you subtract the $28,000 from the $70,000 and they're paying taxes on $42,000. Let's go to couple number 2. As a society, we were conditioned, you want more money, go get you another job. Couple number 2 made $12,000, which put them in a higher tax bracket than couple number 1. They don't have anywhere of sheltering their hard-earned money. They got all these holes inside of their paycheck. See, if you're not contributing to the economy, you're only going to get a few write-offs. So they put themselves in a higher tax bracket than couple number 1. Now let's go to couple number 3. Couple number 3 decided to get them a home-based business. Folks, when you get a home-based business, there are over 400 tax deductions you can get as a home-based business owner. Let's cover a few. If you drive your car, the government will allow you to get 56.5 cents for every 1 mile you drive your car. You can either write off your mileage or your maintenance, but you can't do both. And when you're going to drive your car anyway, so why not be able to write it off and shelter more of your hard-earned money? This is awesome. If you have kids, you can write your kids off, because if Wendy's or Burger King can hire your kids, and so can you. So you can hire your child to file stuff in your office and take out the trash, and you can pay them a check through your business account, and you'll be able to write that off. You're going to pay for school clothes anyway. Why not be able to write those expenses off on things that you were going to do anyway? Let's take communications. If you got a cell phone, if you have the internet service, you're using it for your business, the government will allow you to write a portion of your cell phone bill off if you use it for your what? Yes, you guessed it, your business. Let's take your meals. If you take a potential client out to lunch and you talk about your business, something that you're saving on your taxes, just learn how to invest, and that meal came to $30, you'll be able to write that meal off. 50% of that meal is tax deductible. Awesome. So let's say with couple number 3, this all came up to $25,000. They still make the same $12,000 from their business, so they subtracted the $12,000 from the $25,000, and that's what goes over to the back page of the W-4 form. You get to write off your house or a business. And you can do both if you have a house. So this allows you to, guess what? Shelter more of your hard-earned money and plug all those holes. That is incredible. What does couple number 3 know that couple number 2 and number 1 don't know? You got it. That will be us in myEcon. So those numbers bleed right over to the back page of the W-4 form. You can take that W-4 form now and change it, and you'll get a pay raise the very next pay period from your employer. I'm telling you that when you do this, this is going to change your income significantly. This is an example of a person that we have create $500 almost in their paycheck. We fill out the W-4 form, and now we increase their income. This is a stimulus package. They was married with 2 kids, and they was only claiming 2 when they should have been claiming 10. This is the value of this information, how we're showing people how to free money up in their paycheck. If you're going to own a business, the government is going to require you to take proper documentation. If the government audits you and you don't have your proper receipts, then they're not going to allow any of those deductions that you're claiming. So we have the software. With our cash flow manager software, it will allow you to input your data. You need no special accounting, CPA skills. You can simply upload the information with your smartphone, your tablet, or your computer. You can even take a picture of it. This is incredible. You can use the information from the drop-down menu, or you can create your expense. It's simply being able to audit-proof your business and document everything. You simply put in the who, the what, and the where. It also documents your mileage for you as well. You can take a picture of the receipt and it uploads it to the cloud, and it organizes and keep your stuff in order. And all you have to do is print it out and give it to your tax preparer. How awesome is that? Now, what exactly do you get when you join myEcon? You get a world-class business system. You get a personalized website. You get the training. You get leadership. I mean, you get valuable tax information. The most important thing, you get me as your team leader. How exciting is that? See, when you come on my team, we will assist you with building your business, assist you with transforming your thought mentality and doing a paradigm shift with taking your business to the next level. Because when you get that website, on that website, you get our incredible cashback mall. With our cashback mall, people can shop at your mall for free. They get a 30% cashback rebate, but you get paid a residual income. That is incredible. People are going to shop anyway. So why not shop at your mall for free and they get a discount, and you can have the product shipped to your house, or you can go pick it up. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about travel. If you decide to book a room, rent a car, or take a flight somewhere, you can do it through your own website. How awesome is that? Now, our system is created to show you how to create money online as well. With that passive income, as long as someone is buying something from your website, you have big people in your business with you. With our unlimited income system, as a marketing director, you would pay $25 for each marketing director that you personally sponsor in myEcon. You'll be able to receive 25% sales commissions on all personal volume generated from your website. Once you make executive vice president on your 4th person on, we will pay you $50 per person, but for every marketing director you personally sponsor. Plus, you'll receive a 50% commission on all sales that's generated on your website as well. Now, here's the good part. Once you make executive vice president, now you're able to create a bonus, a $1,000 bonus for every 7 people that comes inside of your base shop. Now, that means whether you sponsor them or not. So if we helping people saving on their taxes, everybody's buying from their mall, you're able to get paid off teaching the W-4 form. Folks, it's not a shortage on people that want their money, I guarantee you. Now, I know some of you might be a little leery and thinking that this is one of those pyramid schemes. Let's cover what a pyramid scheme is. For those who are in the military, would it be safe to say that a private would never make more money than a sergeant? A sergeant would never make more money than a sergeant first class. A sergeant first class would never make more money than a sergeant major. All the way on up to the general. Now that's leveraging. The Army, the military is leveraging you for your time, your education, your leadership and experience. And so they use you to train the other soldiers. Even if you are a civilian, you're being leveraged at your job. Because the people at the top is the one that's getting all the tax deductions, the CEO of the company, but you came in at entry level and that job is capped. You're only going to make so much that's allocated for that position. So no matter how far you go up, if you don't own the company, you're not going to be able to maximize the total amount of tax deductions that you authorize to have through the government. But when you start your home-based business, you get over 400 tax deductions, and so you get the same tax deduction as a C corporation, but from the comfort of your own home. And more importantly, your income is unlimited. No one can hold you back. No one can stop you from creating wealth. This is why I like this company. Because of myEcon and everything that they have taught me, I'm considered what you might call psychologically unemployable because I don't like my time being controlled. I like waking up in the morning when I'm done sleeping. And myEcon has afforded me the opportunity to be able to do just that. Now, with our cash flow success strategy, this is another awesome product that we have because we're going to show you how to eliminate your debt and create your cash flow strategy. And we're going to wrap this up. With our cash flow strategy software, this is incredible. Because in this example, this is a person that said that we saved about $350 in their taxes and they made about $1,000 from us per month in myEcon. So with that, we took that $1,350 and added to this credit card debt that they was paying $1,500 a month, and they was paying $150. Now they paying $1,500 on that same credit card. They was able to pay that credit card off in 1 month. So they're able to take the $1,500 and put it towards the next credit card or the $10,000 of Bank of America card. Wow. Now they're able to pay that bill off in 6 months. How awesome is that? Can you believe it? That you can pay your house off in less than 30 years? With our cash flow strategist software, you are able to get your life in order, and that's why we call it the personal financial success company. Here's a scenario: a person that had $30,000 worth of debt. $15,000 was for a credit card, $15,000 was for a car note. They had a total of $750 that they were paying monthly. We adjusted their W-4 form, created $300 instantly in their paycheck. They made $800 a month from myEcon, and listen, they were able to free up and earn $1,100 in their paycheck through myEcon. They took that money and added it to the $750. Now they're able to pay that debt off in 20 months because $1,850 is going to that debt. And now can you imagine being able to invest that money at an 8% rate of return to be able to create wealth for you and your family in over 7 years, having over $200,000, and 12 years having over $400,000, and even over 20 years having over $1 million. That is the significance of the things that we do for people here at myEcon. Now, how do you get started? For a one-time investment in yourself of $179.99, you can start up your business and take advantage of all the tax deductions, change your W-4 form, and for a recurring monthly fee that you're going to pay to maintain your website of $29.95, I'm telling you, you cannot beat that. That is incredible because this is an investment in yourself. Somebody's going to get this money every month. It might as well be you. So where do you go from here? Get with the person that invited you to view this presentation. Fill out that W-4 form. Get signed up and get started. I call it TNT, tonight, not tomorrow. I'm Sonia Garrett Smith. I thank you for watching this presentation. Have a fantastic day.